You are Locked On Golden Gophers POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Gophers get bullied tonight by the number one team in the country, Ohio State, 42-3. That's your final. Gophers move to 3-2 on the year. Thanks for joining us. All the instant reaction coming up next from this one. Golden Gophers POSTCAST right here, Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. You got me, Luke Inman, at Luke_Spinman. Got the legend Ron Johnson. Give him a follow on X at 3 Ron Johnson. Go check him out, by the way, every Tuesday on the Ron Johnson Show right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota YouTube page, and, of course, wherever you find your podcasts. Lots to get into. Biggest turning point from tonight, what we'll be talking about tomorrow from this one, plus a little sneak peek next week's matchup, Purdue back at home, Huntington Bank Stadium. But first, Ron, just off the top here, real quick, 30 seconds. No champagne, no stogie, no Oakleys in the house at 10 p.m., no streaking down the street to the neighbor's house. Gophers get routed. They get bullied. Just to kick things off, your top 30-second knee-jerk reaction to kind of what we just watched unfold before we get into all the nitty-gritty, all the details.
As a wise man once said, we thought they were who they thought they were. We thought they were who they were. I don't even know how he said it. I don't know why he said it. Well, I do know why he said it.
You got it.
But we thought they were who they were. Crown them. I mean, they are good. They are the best team in the country. They have the best talent in the country. They got Jeremiah Smith. They got Tate, who is awesome. Julian Saiyan went Super Saiyan today and just absolutely went off. It started off good for the Gophers. Started off good. But I think they only got into the red zone twice and just came away with, 3 points? Yep. So, it is what it is. Like, you take your butt whooping, you go home, lick your wounds, and you got to get ready for homecoming in Purdue because you gotta have a goldfish memory with this one and just forget about it, move on. I honestly, I know they have to watch the tape. I don't even want to watch the tape. There's nothing to watch. There's nothing to watch. Unless you're a Jeremiah Smith fan and you live in Minnesota and you just want to watch some of that. You just want to watch a little bit of Cardell Tate, Carnell Tate. Other than that, because Carnell Tate. We talked about Jeremiah Smith, and we know who he is. 2 touchdowns, but not explosive. But Tate, and here's the crazy thing. I said this in the pregame show today. I said the only way to stop Jeremiah Smith is to put a safety over the top. They did that, but you got to cover the other guy because Carnell Tate definitely. 9 catches, 183 yards and 1 touchdown.
Something in the water, man. Something in the water.
And they always keep 2. They keep 2 on them, like every year. Emeka Ibuka. And then they also
Jackson
had
Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
Maserati Marv.
They keep 2 to 3 on them in the holster. It's like I got them on me. Yep. And when I pull them out, you just don't know what to do with them. And Tate was just, Tate was a product of getting a lot of, man coverage and just lost in coverage because you got the man Jeremiah Smith. And Jeremiah Smith still got him 2 touchdowns. But on that double reverse fake, whatever that was, throwback, it was just a great route. Like there was the corner did not fall for the cheese. He wasn't looking to the back. He just got routed. And so that's what I take away. My immediate thing is like, man, they are good. Their defense is good. They've given up 5.5 points this season so far per game, and it's going to get better because now they only gave up 3. So the history and the storied history of Ohio State continues. They are the national champions. They did add a Super Bowl champion in Matt Patricia to the defensive coordinator side. So, yeah, it was a tough uphill battle from the start, and they just never got their footing.
Gophers struggles in the red zone. Perfect segue. Let's get into the meat and potatoes with the biggest turning point from tonight.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Honestly, I'm going with the first drive, man. Drake Lindsey starts out 7 for 7. Looked like Ethan Caligmanis last week. Rutgers, remember? We kept talking about that. Starts 7 for 7, marches them all the way down to the 6-yard line. And then a drop pass on third down means they settle for a field goal, makes it 3-0. Now, I'm not saying this game looks any different had they scored there. Maybe it's still a blowout through and through, but who knows, man? Maybe that's just enough momentum to keep things a little bit tighter for a little bit longer, and then maybe make something different happen. That felt like the turning point for me. What do you think, Rob?
I agree. Yeah, I think that was who dropped that? I think number 11. Was that Javon Tracy? I think was running Tracy. Like the over route or the shallow route, and he dropped it.
And it wasn't on the numbers.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't see if the DB had a chance to get his hand in there or what. But he did. He didn't make the catch. He didn't make the play. He had opportunity 1-on-1 to make a play. Yeah. Play wasn't made, and so you had to settle for 3. It still felt like, man, because like Washington was in the same situation with Ohio State early. Like 3-0 after the first quarter. It was 0-0 after the first quarter, I think, or something like that. And then they scored 3, but then boom, nothing after that for them too. But they never got to 42. And so that was for me. I'd say for sure that was the turning point. I would say like later in the game when they had a chance again and they settled for a field goal and missed it. But I think at that point it was already turned.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's get into the talking about what we'll be talking about tomorrow morning after this one.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Honestly, I mean, okay, so what are we going to be talking about tomorrow morning after we watch this one unfold the way it did? For me, it's kind of simple. You kind of touched on the opening 30. You went into the shoe, number 1 team in the country, same team that beat Texas week 1, Washington on the road last week, and you just got outplayed, man, plain and simple. Outmatched, outmanned, offense, defense, special teams. You lost all 3 phases. You just couldn't keep up. Not sure how much you really hang your head after this one. Obviously, you want to make it close. You want to make it fun. You want to try to, pull the Cinderella upset, but nobody had advantage Gophers on this. When the schedule came out at the beginning of the year and said, oh, Gophers going to Ohio State? No, I mean, you lick your wounds, I think. You learn from your mistakes best you can. Start getting Darius Taylor more involved and healthy, I guess, moving forward. And then hope Drake Lindsey can just keep developing, taking these steps week by week, game by game. Thoughts on that, I guess, and thoughts about, what you'll be talking about, what you'll be thinking about, pondering from this one tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing you take from this is there's a lot of work to do. If it was closer, you could be like, man, the Gophers are right there. Nothing from this game. I mean, again, I might watch some of the highlights back to be like, oh, okay, that was a good rep there. Oh, like there were flashes. And I mean, like not like a whole bunch, like early on, the drive to start the game. Maybe that's what we'll be talking about is like, why didn't that just continue? Why didn't it just keep going fast like that? Look at the Rutgers game and how quick they were going against Rutgers in the second half, and they never really huddled up. They went tempo offense. Never really saw that today. And again, maybe they just never had a chance. Maybe Ohio State's just that good. Maybe Ohio State was prepared. Matt Patricia's like, look, if they do that, we're just going to blitz and see what happens because we know our offense can score. And if we end up in a high-scoring game, who cares? But it never got like away from Ohio. Like Ohio State never looked like they were swimming. It just always looked like they were under control and they were like wading in a little kiddie pool. Like, all right, where's this? Where's that? Like everything was right there in front of them. They never got into the deep end. They never ended up in a position where they had to call for help. Again, that very first drive, the Jamison Gears up the seam, man, beautiful pass, great extension catch, showing that catch radius, showing he's an NFL tight end. And then never came back. Never went back to stretching the field like that. And I think, I don't know how many sacks. I didn't really look at that part. I think what they give up, like 1 or 2 sacks.
Yeah, I think 2. Yep.
But it took a while for them to get their first sack. I think it was like in the second half, if I'm not mistaken, to when they got their first sack. So it was the offensive line was doing a great job. Yeah. It just like they just got players everywhere, linebackers, DBs, linemen. Like Ohio State is. I mean, again, when you're the number 1 team in the country, you get some of the best recruits in the country. And, it is what it is. You just got to figure out a way next time to, keep it closer. But again, I think we see in the comments from a lot of the people watching is you just got to move on. Like you got to get ready for Purdue. It's homecoming next week and another night game. So like the Gophers have a bunch of primetime games. You just got to get ready for the next one.
We always talk about team stats on this show right after the game. They play such a critical role in so many collegiate games week to week, Ron.
Yep.
Is there 1 or 2 team stats that just really stick out? I mean, to your point, the O-line held up very well. No running game, though. And when you get down to Ohio State, 14-3 even, and you don't have a running game to lean on a little bit, all of a sudden it's like, oh, man, this could get ugly real quick, and it did. I know they ended with just over 50 yards rushing, but a lot of that was kind of in garbage time at the end. Yeah. Not a lot of impactful, splashy runs. But in your eyes, one or two team stats that just really stuck out tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you had Darius Taylor back and you still couldn't really get him going. And then it didn't seem like, not to say he's not 100%, but it just didn't feel like, he is 100%. Like you could tell he's just not the original guy we saw to start the season off. Kind of sucks to, suffer a leg injury that early in the season. And it's going to linger for the rest of the year, and that's what sucks when you get those type of leg injuries and you have to run on your legs nonstop. Good to see him out there starting, but just not the production you thought you would get out of him. And I'd say that team stat for me actually was the 7 punts. It just like the conversion 1 for 11 on third down. That for me is the one that they're going to be looking back like, man, like we could not get it together. Like we ended up in third and long, maybe way too much. Time of possession was only 28-31. Like you said, a lot of it was towards the end of garbage time. And honestly, like Ohio State on some of those one-hitter quitters, just, putting that dagger in the coffin. And so it 51 plays to 58 plays. Like it seems closer if you don't look at the score until you look up at the total yards. 162 to 474. That's another team stat where I'm like, my goodness, it was just lopsided there.
Yeah, and to your point as well, I think on the broadcast, I want to say they threw up a graphic in the first quarter, 3rd and 4 or more for Ohio State. That defense had allowed like 1 conversion out of 22 attempts. Not 3rd and long, like we talk about Vikings defense, Brian Flores, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 4. 1 for 22 opposing teams' offense converted. So, yeah, you're going up against an absolute juggernaut. Normally, after a win, we do, the game MVP. For Ohio State, I guess I just want to ask you, just want to touch on this and circle back. How come you see certain programs just constantly be this pipeline of talent for certain specific positions year in and year out? You talked about Tate. You talked about Jeremiah Smith. But Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Marvin Harrison, Emeka Egbuka, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Santonio Holmes, how far you want to go back? List goes on and on. Is it something in the water? Like, that is an embarrassment of riches. Is it Brian Hartline, just the secret sauce as the wide receiver coach? Like, how do you kind of quantify that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the lure of the program, to be honest. Sure. Like, I mean, if you look at the Big Ten for a while, it's been Michigan or Ohio State, but Michigan won the Big Ten championship for a couple years. Beat Ohio State for like, I think 3 out of 4 years or something, or 4 out of the 5 years. But Ohio State tends to have better like NFL caliber skill position guys, running backs and receivers. Michigan has some. They put a couple out there, not receivers, but definitely running backs, DBs for sure, like Will Johnson, and you can go on back before Mike Sanistrill and some of those guys.
Jordan Lewis,
third pick. Yep. But yeah, no, it's 100% Ohio State offensive weapons. Like, I mean, you named them. They're pushing for that wide receiver U. Like, I feel like when you look across the country for the last couple years, they've been wide receiver U.
Where's the individual win? Can you find anyone that was able to stand out and just build any momentum moving into next week versus Purdue?
Luke,
I know it's tough. I'm putting you on the spot on this.
That's
I know
tough.
It's tough. Is there anybody at all?
Oh, shoot.
How about let me ask you this. Let me flip out. How do you think Coy Parrish is looking the last couple weeks?
But that's the thing.
Rough ending of the game a few weeks ago on that muff punt.
Like say the slant route, right? Or the underneath route, he got underneath it. Yep. If he snags that with one hand, right. It's it's all over Sports Center.
For sure.
But then they still probably lose the game. But little stuff like that, like I think Coy's playing fine. The problem is when you have such a big target on your back, people expect you to be the best all the time, Mm-hmm. And so do Minnesota fans still think Coy Parrish is Travis Hunter 2.0? I think we know the answer is no to that. Like, I hope people realize that. Like, he's not a receiver like Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter actually was a true wide receiver in like a top, like Coy Parrish went to a small high school. So, of course, like his coach, we saw the story. Corey Parrish went to a small high school, so he could do everything he wanted to do. If he had went to a Power 5, one of those Class 6 schools where they got enough guys on both sides. Now, again, he is an elite athlete in the state of Minnesota, but it's just different. Travis Hunter coming from Florida being a two-way guy. It's different. It is. It's just like you talk about Texas, you talk about California, just a little bit different. But I will say this, like the kid is good. The kid makes plays, but he's definitely not a receiver. He is a safety, though. He's a legit safety. He is one of the best safeties in the country. It's tough for a safety to always make plays. Cornerbacks are tested a lot. Safeties only get pointed out if they make an interception or they get stiff armed to the ground, which we saw Jeremiah Smith kind of had a sixth sense and felt him coming from behind him and stiff armed him. I think Corey Parrish is doing just fine, but I also think that, it's time to focus on safety. Let me be the best safety I can be. Not to say he can't be a punt returner, but again, I just feel like just try to be the best safety you can be. Because I think that's where his bread and butter is going to be. He's a great athlete, and I know when you have a great athlete, you want to get him on the field. Here's the other thing too, though. When he plays receiver, it's almost like they're not trying to do trick plays for him. They're just trying to put him in the offense. But I think they're realizing, look, we have Jalen Smith and we have Javon Tracy. We got some other weapons, and I think they were trying to find that, and we got Le'Meke Brockington. So I think he's doing fine. But again, from this game, there's not a lot to take away to say this is going to be promising for the rest of the season.
Yeah. No.
I will say this. For that offensive line to not give up a sack until late in the game like that, that's something that you can kind of say, okay, this offensive line is legit. Like the offensive line did a great job there. That's where I guess I can kind of say, you know what, the offensive line did a good job. Like I'll give them that.
Plenty more to come here. Instant reaction. Don't go anywhere. Biggest pros, biggest cons. Quick little preview of Purdue next week back at home. Huntington Bank Stadium. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, the NFL season's here. FanDuel's making sure you're ready for kickoff with this can't-miss offer right now, new customers. You bet just $5. If your bet wins, you're getting $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Well, I love FanDuel. They got everything. Player props, same-game parlay, jumping in live as the action unfolds. My favorite. You name it, they got it. Take your pick. So quick, so easy. Best way to add a little bit more enthusiasm, a little bit more excitement to your Sundays. Are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app. Visit FanDuel.com today to get started. That's FanDuel.com. You're getting $300 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. All right, what we loved, what we hated. I'll just rip both mine out. You tell me what you think. What I love, Drake Lindsey starting the game 8 for 8, marching down the field. Look at the part, passing the eye test, right? I know things fell apart from there, but I still feel like the Gophers got a dude. When you look at just the big picture, I know people are going to say, how can you say he's the dude after tonight? But, I just can't pin all of this loss, the struggles tonight on him. Not even close. Maybe I'm in the minority after that, but I'm still all in on Drake Lindsey. What I hated, I just miss healthy Darius Taylor, man. I know you can't force him back. Clearly still working his way back from that injury. He's not 100%. But so much of this offense, Ron, going into the season was made about him being the focal point, right? The catalyst. He makes everything hum. He's the engine. Hasn't been the case this year. And now he's missed a third of his collegiate games now due to injury. 33% of his games he's missed. So that's been frustrating to watch, only because we know how talented he is. We know how special that dude can be. Thoughts on those two and just what you loved, what you hated tonight?
Darius Taylor, I agree with you on that. Like Darius Taylor not being healthy definitely sucks for this team because he is. I mean, PJ Fleck, I think, said it on our show, on the pregame show. He said it in the press conference of Darius Taylor. He said on the PJ Fleck show, Darius Taylor can be considered the best player on the team, or one of the best players on the team, but definitely like the best offensive weapon they have. And so when you don't have that, it's just tough. And then my biggest thing, I watched Washington, and Washington didn't do anything either. Let's be real. Washington ended up getting beat too, but they found a lot of success in play action. And so Tanner Morgan and I kind of broke down some plays on the pregame show, and we pointed that out, that like if you can run the ball, get one or two big run plays or, gash plays, 15, maybe 20, even 30-yard runs, Ohio State's linebackers are going to be real respectful of you, and they're going to kind of step up to try to stop the run, and now the play action works. the Gophers never established the run. And I think that was the problem. Ohio State knew if they can force them in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, which is, I mean, look at the 3rd downs, 1 for 11, that they could pin their ears back and they don't have to worry about the run. They can just go after the quarterback with whatever they want and then put enough guys in coverage to make it confusing to Drake Lindsey. Secondly, yeah, I'm still in on Drake Lindsey. Again, you went up against the number 1 team in the country that's only given up 5.5 points. So it kind of went the way I think a lot of people thought it was going to go. It just sucks that it actually happened. Like I was hoping it would be like if it was going to be 3 for the Gophers, I wish it was going to be 6 for Ohio. Like it was going to be like a low scoring barn burner, one of those where everybody's just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how slow this game is. What I love and hate, I love the fact that PJ Fleck and the coaching staff was still coaching through the game. Like you could see them on the sideline, still trying to yell stuff out, still trying to do stuff. Him going for the field goal. I haven't even looked at social media yet, but I'm pretty sure going for a field goal that late in the game, people are like, what are you doing? You're down by whatever 4 or 5 touchdowns. You might as well just go for it at this point. So I get their sentiment, but he's just calling the game the way he's like, look, this is what I'm going to do. This is what analytics say. Let's get some points, take some points, find some victories in this. Let's work on some stuff. Guy misses the field goal. So then they're like, you might as well went for it anyway. So there's hindsight's 50-50. Who cares?
Sure. Yeah.
I love that. What I hate the feeling right now. Like that's what I hate. I hate how it feels because I was a player. I've never lost a game like this, but I don't think I have. I don't think I ever lost a game like that, but I'd have to go back and look. My memory's bad. I'm old. But I just hate any loss. Like I hate the feeling of that loss. Like getting on because everybody kind of had that maybe, like, could it happen? Yeah. Could it 25 years ago it happened in the shoe? Could it happen again? So there was a lot of that, like where people's expectations were there, and I hate the feeling of everybody in Minnesota because this whole week. That's all I've been getting from people. Even today at my daughter's softball tournament, people are asking me like, "Are you working tonight? You doing?" I'm like, "Yep, check us out, man. Check us out on the podcast, man. We'll be working after the game." And they're like, "You think they got a chance?" It's just like everybody was kind of like, "Man, maybe Drake Lindsey is legit," but yeah, they couldn't get it done.
And now all the pressure's on the Vikings tomorrow, which I don't think anybody feels great about that either. We'll save that for tomorrow's.
Yep. I'll be up at 5:30 in the morning to get ready for the 7 a.m. pregame show. And then
maybe
like
it's
a blessing.
Maybe it's a blessing the Gophers didn't make you pop some champagne tonight this late, knowing.
Yeah, because now I have no problem going to sleep. I'm having a little late night pizza snack, and then I have no problem falling asleep.
We'll get you out of here. Gophers get bullied in the shoe, top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams. They get outplayed in every facet versus Ohio State. 42-3. That's your final versus the Buckeyes. They dropped to 3-2 on the year. Huge shout out to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Check out all of Ron's great work, by the way, on X at 3Ron Johnson, plus all the stuff he's always ripping up over on the Ron Johnson
Jake
Show.
Reed this Tuesday. Check out Jake Reed.
You always got bangers, man. Every week.
Jake Reed will be joining us, and he tells an absolute banger of a story about that Thanksgiving game where Randy Moss went off. His thought process, why Randy Moss was starting that week instead of Jake Reed, because Randy Moss had not started prior to that. It was Jake Reed and Chris Carter.
Sounds crazy, by the way.
I know.
How is Randy? Thanksgiving. That's like what, week 9, week 10, week 11.
I can't. Yeah. Just you'll hear the story. I didn't even realize that was the case. I thought Randy was the starter, but no, he wasn't. It was still Jake Reed. And but think about it. Justin Jefferson wasn't the starter either out the gate for the Vikings. So
that's true.
A lot of NFL teams kind of do that sometimes, where if you have 2 other veterans already there, hey, let's let them start off and see how it goes, and then okay, it's time to get the rookie in here. But Randy Moss got in there because of something. Jake Reed was like, so yeah, it's a great story.
Oh, I can't wait. That's awesome. Go check that out up on the Locked On Sports Minnesota YouTube page next Tuesday and wherever you find your podcast. Boilermakers up next, another 6:30 p.m. kickoff for that one. Join us for that. Should be another good one. Until then, Sky Umar, go Gophers. Signing out.